The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey, very pleasant good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's In.FORM Coaches webinar, this beautiful October 4th, coming to you live from Lehi, Utah, from our home office here. My name is Scott Terry. I have the pleasure of being the host for today's webinar, and we're honored to have each and every one of you here with us. We have a wonderful presentation on deck, as hopefully is always the case. But today we're going to learn how we can plan, purchase, and prepare the meal plans throughout the week. And as we were thinking, who could we ask to be our presenter on this very topic, we feel like we found the ideal person. So it's my pleasure to introduce to you as our presenter today, Robin Cook, who comes to us from Independence, Missouri. We've had the pleasure of having Robin as a presenter in weeks and months and years past, and she always delivers an outstanding presentation. And I was just mentioning to Robin that the presentation that we're all about to look at is really beautifully prepared, visually stunning with the pictures that you'll see and with the information that she'll share with us. You are in for a great hour together. So once again, thank you for being here with us. As always, we invite you to type in your questions, any comments that you may have. We'll try and reserve a little bit of time towards the end of the hour where we can ask your questions to Robin and get her professional opinion, feedback. So if you have any questions that arise between now and towards the end of the webinar, please go ahead and type those in, and we'll try and get some answers. Also, for those of you who may be retailers on our webinar today, we wanted to ask you just an In.FORM related question, and if you can answer it by similarly typing it into the little comments box or the little pane on your screen where you can respond. We'd like to know from you retailers if you're able to incorporate In.FORM into your retail business. Are you able to hold groups there in your store or somewhere else perhaps? Are you having success selling the kits, the metabolic age support system kits? Just any general feedback in terms of In.FORM and how it's working for you in your retail environment would be welcome. So if you can share some thoughts with us. Josh Subi asked me to put that question out there to you retailers, and I will be sure to give him your feedback. So thank you in advance for any thoughts that you might be able to share with us. Well, as mentioned, today we're going to talk about how to plan, purchase, and prepare our daily meals using the meal plan that is part of the In.FORM program. And as I also mentioned, we just have a beautiful presentation here ready for you now from the amazing Robin Cook. So Robin, from all of us that are on the webinar today, a huge welcome to you, and we will turn the time over to you to learn what you do to enjoy deliciously In.FORM. So please take it away.
All right, thank you so much. It's a delight to be with you all. And before we really dig into the meat of the lesson today, I just wanted to give you some goals, some different points that we're going to be going through over today. And there's lots of slides, so you might want to get your smartphone ready to take some pictures. We will give some recipes out here on the slide, so it's just going to be a great presentation. So thank you for being here today. So the first thing that we're going to be talking about are some healthy staples to shop for. So what are some items that you want to already have in your pantry and to encourage your participants to be purchasing so that way they are ready and stocked with the healthy ingredients to make these wonderful In.FORM friendly recipes. Secondly, we're going to review the In.FORM daily food goals or the meal plan requirements. So I'm sure you're already pretty familiar with them, but it never hurts to review them. The third thing that we're going to be talking about are some recipe ideas to get your food goals in. Personally, I know some of my participants, they struggle to get in all the greens or all the vegetables. So hopefully today you'll come away with some fresh inspiration and encouragement that you can share with your group. The fourth thing will be inspiration for a healthy In.FORM day. So what does it truly look like to eat the In.FORM way in a whole day? So that's what we're going to be looking at. And then lastly, some creative ways to conquer cravings. Because let's be honest, we all still want some sweet foods every now and then. I'm sure we have some participants that might be a little stubborn in giving up their sugar. So we'll look at some healthier ways to conquer those cravings today. All right. So I really hope that today that these recipe ideas will be inspiring to you as you enjoy nutrient-dense foods on your IN.FORM journey. So no matter if you've been a coach for a week or for 3 years, we're all on this journey together, and I just trust that this is a blessing to you today. All right, and then also before we get into more of the lesson, I just wanted to share some thoughts with you that IN.FORM truly is for life. It's a lifestyle. And so IN.FORM is not a healthy bubble way of life. It is preparing people to live and flourish in any food environment they encounter. So what does that look like? It looks like choosing the healthiest options when eating out. We talk about that, right? It looks like planning and cooking nourishing foods at home throughout the week, because we give them different recipe ideas, the meal plan that's mentioned on pages 11 and 12 in our manual. Enjoying food at celebrations in moderation, because it's not about, secluding ourselves, but it's being active and involved in our lives and in our family's lives and friends, but it's staying on track. It's not depriving ourselves, but it's being very mindful of what's going into our bodies and making wise decisions. And then lastly, recreating family favorites. Here pretty soon I'll share with you some recipes that my family and I, that we have recreated, that we've tweaked some things to make it healthier, and I'm sure that you are sharing with your participants how to go about doing that as well. And especially as we look towards the holiday season with Thanksgiving and Christmas, we're going to want to be sharing with them some different tips, so that way they can still be eating delicious food and not feel like they're depriving themselves. And so all this together to me means alteration, not deprivation, to flourish for life. So that's one of my favorite phrases, is alteration, not deprivation. It's changing out the ingredients, changing out the food, but not depriving ourselves. So hopefully that sounds really good to you. All right, so now, like I promised, we're going to look at a few healthy staples, because we are only as healthy as our kitchen is. So here is a list. These are some things that I love to have on hand. So some vegetables. Spaghetti squash is so versatile, and I'm so excited to share with you some different recipe ideas for using this wonderful winter vegetable. Zucchini and yellow squash. I know it sounds like a very meager vegetable, but it's very versatile as well. Butternut squash or pumpkin, and I will be honest, butternut squash isn't specifically mentioned in the IN.FORM meal plan. However, I do like to have it just as a little secret weapon, so to speak, if someone is really experiencing bad cravings and it's between something that is sweet, like a sweet vegetable, or a candy bar. Well, I'm going to say, hey, you can have some butternut squash. It's technically not on plan, but it's going to be better than, some kind of candy bar or pie or something like that. Pumpkin, though, it is on the meal plan. Cauliflower. Now, some of you may love cauliflower, and some of you might despise it, but we're going to give you a few really fun ideas to use it in our recipe. Baking ingredients and other items to have on hand. Coconut flour, I will give you a recipe at the end that uses coconut flour, and I will be honest, coconut flour is kind of a tricky flour to use. It's great because it is not a grain and it does not have gluten, which is wonderful, but it absorbs a lot of moisture. So it kind of has a lot of trial and error, and so I'm going to give you, though, a recipe that is more tried and true, so you don't have to worry about the error part. Almond flour, another wonderful flour to use. It's gluten-free, grain-free. However, it does have a lot of calories, but we can still use it in moderation. Carob powder, you might have heard of that. You might not have. It is an alternative to cocoa. So if you have someone that can't do chocolate or cocoa, or they just can't handle the caffeine, carob powder, it is similar in nature to cocoa, but it does not have caffeine. And then lastly, fresh chicken or vegetable stock, and that is really to help in reduce the oil and the fats that we use. It's great, of course, for soups, but also for cooking vegetables in a flavorful way, but reducing the oil content. And then lastly, a few tools that are really helpful to have on hand, a spiralizer. And I should have included a picture of a spiralizer, but if you're not sure what that is, it's kind of like an apple peeler in reverse, and it's great for making pasta out of vegetables such as zucchini. And then stainless steel pans or stoneware baking dishes, please do not use nonstick or Teflon. That's not very safe for us to be using. It's rather toxic. So stainless steel and stoneware would be much better. Okay. So now reviewing the IN.FORM meal plan goals, and I say it's a goal because we're working towards it. Not everyone will be able to attain this their first day of IN.FORM, so just consider it as a goal. So 6 servings of vegetables, half a cup diced or cooked if they're small pieces, or 1 cup if it's bigger pieces of vegetables, and whether that be cooked or raw. And that would be more of an example like broccoli. 5 ounces of greens, 5 servings of healthy fats, which is 1 teaspoon of oil or 1/8 of an avocado, just as an example. 3 meal proteins, and that's about the size of your palm. 2 snack proteins, which is half of a palm size approximately. And then 1 fruit or legume serving. And there's more information that's found on pages 7 and 8 of the IN.FORM meal plan. I just wrote these in a different order. I do better visually if I see things from the largest number to the smallest. So this is the same information, just in a slightly different order. All right, so now here's a chart, and this chart is very similar to what you'll see in the manual on page 8. And this is just a sample day of how to get your food goals in, and we will look at recipe ideas to accomplish this, all right? So we'll tie it all together by the end. So for breakfast, for example, you might have 1 or 2 ounces of greens in your smoothie. You might have 1 serving of a healthy fat, and of course you'll have your 2 scoops of your wonderful metabolic age protein. For a snack, we'll get 1 of our vegetables in, and of course we'll have 1 of our snack proteins. For lunch, we need to amp up our vegetables a bit, so 2 servings of veggies, 2 ounces of greens, 2 healthy fats, 1 meal protein. And then to save yourself from those pre-dinner cravings, you'll want to have another serving of vegetables and then another snack protein. And if you're wanting to do fruit, then you could have a fruit here. You could do a fruit with your snack. You know, it's very versatile where you can have your fruit. So this is just an example. And then for dinner, then you get your last 2 servings of vegetables. Whew, you did it. You made it. 5 ounces of greens. Now you're at your last 2 servings here at dinner. 2 servings of healthy fats that are remaining, and then 1 meal protein. And so that way you have accomplished your IN.FORM food goals, and you can still smile because you've gotten all your vegetables in. So we'll show you some ways, though, how to make vegetables much more doable than you might be thinking. All right, so now for some IN.FORM recipe ideas. So get the creative and the digestive juices flowing. If you haven't had lunch yet, you might be kind of hungry by the end of this section. All right, so for breakfast to begin, some unlikely smoothie heroes. I had to go outside a couple weeks ago and take a picture of this because throughout my IN.FORM journey, I've had to get a little creative with what vegetables to put into my smoothie. So here are a few maybe new ideas that you might want to incorporate. So of course we want to strive for organic produce, organic ingredients if at all possible. So the first thing that you can do to add some flavor, to change things up a little bit, would be to add in some fresh organic mint. I got this at the health food store nearby to me, but you can grow it if you want to, preferably in a pot, because otherwise it will take over your yard. But that's a fun thing to put into your smoothie. Or you could do the chlorophyll ES. That's an awesome idea. I love putting chlorophyll into my smoothie. Makes it a beautiful green color, very energizing, alkalizing, just wonderful. Some carrots would be great. If your blender isn't as high-powered, you could shred the carrots beforehand. And a half a cup of those carrots, remember, you 1 serving of veggies. Some raw beet. Beets do not have to be cooked. So this raw beet, you would want to do 1/4 of a cup, though, because that's what we're allowed for on the IN.FORM meal plan. But that can make a beautiful pink or fuchsia smoothie and add some sweetness. You could do some raw hemp seeds, and up to 1 tablespoon, because that would be equivalent to 1 healthy fat. And the raw hemp seeds, those are here in the middle little container here. And those have some great omega-3s as well as some protein as well. Chia seeds, I really, really enjoy putting chia seeds into my smoothie. I personally enjoy my smoothies thicker, and the chia seeds really help with that consistency. And so once again, 1 tablespoon would be 1 serving of your healthy fats, and you'll get some extra fiber that will really be beneficial for our microbiome. Believe it or not, you can put cooked spaghetti squash into your smoothie. So if you have this lingering spaghetti squash in your fridge, you've had it for dinner the night before and you don't know what to do with it, you can put some into your smoothie. And I would start with 1/2 of a cup and see how you like it. It's great because it doesn't have much flavor, but yet you're getting in a vegetable. So if you're not so sure about putting beets in there or some stronger vegetable, spaghetti squash is a great way to start. Zucchini, another wonderful versatile vegetable to put into your smoothie, or yellow squash. And you can do kind of like a diced zucchini or yellow squash, 1/2 a cup, bam, you're already at 1 serving of vegetables. If you're brave enough and you do 1 cup, you're already to 2 servings. That's amazing. You could do cooked or canned pumpkin. 1/2 a cup will give you 1 serving of your vegetables. And especially going into this fall and winter season, your cooked spaghetti squash, your canned pumpkin, that will kind of give you and your participants kind of that fall, more kind of warming, a little bit more dense of a smoothie type of feel that will help to stick to your ribs and stay with you a little bit longer. And then cooked or raw butternut squash. Now this here on your right-hand side, this is actually an acorn squash, but you could use butternut as well. I think we covered about everything here on this picture. This green powder here, this is Nature's Harvest. If you wanted to add a little bit extra greens and protein in, you could do that as well. Alrighty, so now a non-smoothie idea. This is an egg wrap on green toast, and this is using nori seaweed. So if you want to, you can go to your health food store. You can pick up some nori. I don't think they have kelp in this big of pieces, but nori, typically you can get this, and you can put an egg or 2 that you have lightly cooked, not fried or charred, but it's cooked through. And then you can put your 1/8 of an avocado on top and sprinkle some Nature Sunshine sea salt and some capsicum, and there you have a wonderful breakfast, getting some iodine in there. Have some carrots on the side, maybe a glass of chlorophyll, have a devotion, and you're all set. All right, so now we're going to transition into lunchtime. So what are some things that you could have for lunch? This is one of my favorites. This is a green wrap using collard greens or savoy cabbage. And you're going to be seeing some little recipe page numbers here at the bottom of your screen. And those are actually from my new cookbook called Cook to Flourish Cookbook. And here is the website where you can learn more about that. But just to let you know why you're seeing those little page numbers there. So let's look at how you would go about making this green wrap. So here is our first recipe. So you can get out your smartphone and take a little snapshot of this. So in our cookbook, it's called the Favorito Burrito, and it serves 1 to 2 people depending on how many wraps you want. And so you start with your 2 large collard green or Swiss chard or cabbage or savoy cabbage. And I'm just going to kind of explain why you would use which one. So collard greens or cabbage, those are going to be the best if you're going to follow the directions here and steam that green just for 1 minute. So you're going to boil a pot of hot water, put that leafy green on top just for 1 minute until it starts to get bright green and just softens it just a little bit. And then you can go about filling it with the Caul-it rice, which I'll give you the recipe for that here in a few minutes, some chicken, some raw vegetables, and then if you wanted to mash some avocado in there, that would be delicious as well. So that's if you're going to cook the green here like it says. But if you want it to be a super fast recipe and if you want your green to be raw, I encourage you to use savoy cabbage. You may or may not have heard that before, but it's just a different variety of cabbage. It is kind of bumpy almost when you look at it, but it's crunchier and it's lighter, so it doesn't have to be cooked, and it's easier to eat. It's easier to chew. So that's a newfound favorite cabbage. So I hope that you can find it at your local grocery store and try it. All right, and sometimes, you know, we just feel like pasta. And so here's a lovely picture of spaghetti squash, and I've roasted some heirloom tomatoes with some balsamic vinegar. Then we have some fresh garlic and some olive oil, and you can just put that all together for a delicious pasta base, and then put some chicken on top. But here's a meal prep tip for us. If you roast a large spaghetti squash so that you have enough for dinner, as well as for a cold or hot lunch, and even enough for a side dish with dinner the next day. So this is the idea of cooking once and then eating 2 to 3 times off of what you've cooked. That makes for healthy options to have on hand, and it makes your time go further. So it will take some planning, but I promise you it is very worth it. So here's a few different ideas of how the spaghetti squash is so versatile. You can do a cilantro lime spaghetti squash, which you'll see that recipe here in just a minute. Chicken spaghetti squash pasta salad, and you can be creative with that. You have some baked chicken left over from the night before, and then you can chop up some black olives and some fresh basil, maybe some cherry tomatoes. What else could you put in there? Some garlic, some Nature Sunshine sea salt, and there you go. You have a little pasta salad. Some steamed broccoli would be good in that too. And then, of course, you can do spaghetti. That would be wonderful. Okay, so here's a recipe for what we call mild, comforting spaghetti squash. It's like the name says. It's mild, it's very soothing, it's a healthy comfort food. So you don't have to feel guilty about eating this. It's amazing. So you start with a 2.5-pound spaghetti squash. You're going to cook it. You can either steam it, or steaming it is quicker, or you can roast it or bake it in the oven. And I will tell you, if you roast the spaghetti squash, it becomes a bit sweeter. And so you cut the spaghetti squash into quarters, and then you put it face down if you're doing it in the oven, and you bake it for about 35 to 45 minutes approximately at 350 degrees. And I'm sure there's, you know, recipes on Google or Pinterest that would explain that as well. But I have found that that makes the spaghetti squash a little deeper and sweeter, because sometimes spaghetti squash can be bland, and so by baking it, it just really causes those natural sugars to come out of it. And spaghetti squash is just a wonderful food to stock up on this time of year. It's in season, it's delicious. So hopefully you were able to take a picture of that recipe. And next, isn't that a funny picture? It's a happy bowl of soup. So chicken with squash noodle soup. So once again, you have some leftover spaghetti squash. You're making some soup. It's a cold fall night. You make your soup. Just put in some of those spaghetti squash noodles and pretend like you're having chicken noodle soup. Just a lot healthier. Alrighty. Another idea is cucumber or zucchini as crackers. So here we have on the right-hand side some chicken salad, or you can do tuna salad. And if you're wondering, what kind of mayonnaise do I use? Well, you can either mash up an avocado and do it that way, or you could do plain organic Greek yogurt. You could do that. Or there is a brand of mayonnaise that I like to use every now and then. It's called Vegenaise or Vegenaise. And you can find that at most health food stores. And I prefer the one with the purple lid. Okay? So here we see some different veggies that you can use to dip your tuna or chicken salad with. And you might not have seen these little squashes here in the middle, but I have to draw attention to them for just a minute. These are baby patty pan squashes, and they're just beautiful. I don't know if you have access to them or not, but sometimes the farmer's market will have them, and they're just a really privilege to eat because you don't see them very often, and they're very pretty. All right, so now creatively delicious vegetables. So a veggie bruschetta. If you're having some friends over and you want an appetizer, this is a super easy appetizer. If you still have access to some fresh heirloom tomatoes, you can slice about 1/4 of an inch thick tomato, put some avocado on there, just one slice. Then you can chop some cherry tomatoes or heirloom tomatoes again, and then a fresh basil leaf, and then some high-quality organic balsamic vinegar and some Nature Sunshine sea salt and pepper. And voila, you have a veggie bruschetta. All right, anyone hungry yet? Now we can have crunch with fewer carbs using cashews instead of chow mein or ramen noodles in an Asian coleslaw. And you do get the recipe for this one. Don't let it be overwhelming. It's worth it, I tell you. It's just several different cabbages here that you can use. And then this next section of ingredients, this is for the dressing. And then the last three ingredients are for the little crunchy toppings. And then here on the right-hand side is how you would make it. It really comes together quite easily. And I will bring your attention to the Nature Sunshine flaxseed oil is featured in this recipe. I love the Nature Sunshine flaxseed oil. So this can also help your participants bring in some more of the Nature Sunshine products. Okay. Now, instead of rice with Mexican food, once again, we can bring our spaghetti squash into the mix. And so the recipe, this actually is not in our cookbook, so it's not quite as formally written, but it's very easy to make. You just cook the spaghetti squash and scoop it out into the noodles, and you just do that with a fork. Warm 1 tablespoon of extra virgin coconut oil per 3 cups of cooked squash. All right, so you're going to do this in a pan, and you're going to warm that oil with the squash until it's warmed through and the squash is well oiled, distributed throughout the squash. Then you're going to remove that from the heat and then add organic cilantro to your preference, fresh lime juice, and of course our Nature Sunshine sea salt and Nature Sunshine capsicum to taste, and it is delicious. It's very refreshing, and of course you could put some chicken on top of that or salmon or put that next to your fajitas. It's a wonderful dish to make. And next, Caul-it rice. This is in our cookbook too. It's just kind of a play on words using cauliflower instead of grains, so we call it Caul-it rice. And it's delicious with a stir fry. So that is going to be our next, oh, whoops, I thought I gave it to you. I think it's later on. So hold on, we will give you that recipe. Now for some snack ideas. This is a really fun idea. If you don't want your participants to use sweet potato, you could do some raw butternut squash. You could do carrots as a substitute for that sweet vegetable. And all you do is you put some plain almond butter. And then you can sprinkle some cocoa powder on it or some cinnamon or a couple little unsweetened coconut flakes or sea salt. And it's a delicious little kind of like peanut butter and crackers, but it's almond butter and sweet potatoes. And it's a delicious dish. And the sweet potatoes are raw. Okay. And then next, since we are going into the fall season where we're going to have all these pumpkins and winter squashes abounding, you can make use of your seeds. So scoop out the seeds when you're cutting open your squashes, and you can bake them in the oven. So you can season them up as much as you want. You can put just your Nature Sunshine sea salt on it on the really kind of simple end, or you can put some parsley on there. Or this would be good. The garlic and capsicum from Nature Sunshine, that would be great. If you wanted to, you could put some parsley, cumin, whatever you want to do, and you can roast those in the oven instead of popcorn. And 2 tablespoons of those seeds would equal a snack serving of protein. All right, next would be hummus, and there's so many different recipes for hummus. I didn't give this one to you today, but you could also even use the hummus as a salad dressing because we do have to be careful about our oil intake, and hummus would be a way that you could kind of have like a creamy salad dressing. You could add a little bit of almond milk to it or some water to thin it out, and then put that over your salad. If you're kind of coming to the end of your fat servings for the day, you don't have room for another oil, you could put hummus on your salad instead. Next, this is unique. I don't know if any of you have used seaweed chips or flaxseed crackers, but I really enjoy having these kind of as a crunchy snack alternative to like potato chips or something like that. So you can consider 6 to 8 flaxseed crackers over here, or 15 to 20 seaweed chips as a snack, or you can do half of either amount for 1 healthy fat serving. Okay, so this might be able to satisfy kind of a crunchy craving or a chip craving or a carb craving. You could use these instead. So now for some dinner ideas. Spaghetti gone grainless, of course. I'm sure many of you have used spaghetti squash instead of pasta for spaghetti, and you can make some grass-fed beef meatballs here and make your own marinara, or find one that does not have added sugar. You can also put together some fast fajitas. This is a wonderful leftover dish. So say the night before you had made some steak or roast or baked chicken or something like that, and you don't have enough to actually like serve someone a piece of steak or, you know, a chicken leg or something like that. Well, shred up all of that meat, add some peppers and onions and garlic to it, and some cilantro and different seasonings, and voila, you have some fajitas. And a little tip, if you like coconut oil, the coconut oil will make the onions and peppers a little bit sweeter. All right. So now the king of versatility, baked chicken or crockpot organic chicken. And I put organic in here just again to remind us, encourage your participants, if nothing else, encourage them to invest in their organic protein sources, okay? Because the higher up the food chain we go, the potential for more toxins we have. So encourage them to get some organic chicken. And this, all you do is you can bake the whole chicken all at once. Put it into a glass baking dish with about a cup or so of water, and then season it to your desire. We like to put parsley, paprika, garlic, Nature's Sunshine sea salt, and cayenne. Rosemary is great on there too. I mean, you can load it up, and it is delicious. You will bake it at 350 degrees. If the whole chicken, it's about 2 hours. Maybe 2.5, depending on how big of a chicken it is. Alrighty, so now what's in a day of IN.FORM? We've given you lots of different ideas just for inspiration, creativity, just to kind of get your wheels turning on what types of things that you can make for your IN.FORM journey. So now bringing it all to the table, what does it look like in one day? What would you choose from all of those different ideas we've given you? Okay, so back again to our chart. This is what we're going to be aiming for. For breakfast, I'm actually going to change this to 2 ounces of greens here in the meal plan that we're going to be looking at here in just a second. So pretend this one is a 2, okay? Healthy fats, 1 serving, and of course our 2 scoops of protein, so our 1 meal protein. For a snack, we're going to do our 1 vegetable, our 1 snack protein, lunch, 2 vegetables, 2 ounces of greens, 2 healthy fats, 1 meal protein. For our snack, 1 vegetable, 1 snack protein, and then I'm actually not going to show a fruit or a legume. Instead, I'm going to give you a butternut squash idea that will be for a craving health idea. And then for dinner, 2 vegetables, 2 ounces of greens. Actually, this is going to become a 1 since we added an extra to breakfast. Pretend this one's a 1. So I apologize for that flip-flop. I flipped that at the last minute. Then 2 healthy fats and 1 meal protein. So I promise this will all come together to make sense. All right, so we're starting out with breakfast. And of course, we're going to want to shoot to have this breakfast within our first hour of waking up to get all the benefits of the wonderful protein. So here is our recipe for our smoothie. 8 to 12 ounces of water, and that's just depending on how thick or how thin you like it. 2 scoops of your favorite IN.FORM protein, 1 cup of ice, or less if you like it less cold, 10 almonds, 2 ounces of kale, and I prefer my greens to be frozen. I just find that they blend up better. And then 1 tablespoon of carob powder or cacao. So what does that look like in terms of our food goals? So in this recipe, there are no vegetables, but if you are used to lots of vegetables and lots of greens, I encourage you to add in either some frozen broccoli would go well in here. You could do, let's see, some shredded carrots would be good in there, or you could probably even do some of that cooked spaghetti squash or zucchini. That would be good as well. So any of those more mild vegetables would work well if you wanted to add that in. 2 ounces of greens coming from our kale, and I'll be honest, that's about 2.5, maybe even 3 cups of kale. To get all of our greens in, it is kind of a lot, but in the smoothie, it makes it a lot easier. So, you know, if you need to start out with just 1 leaf of kale, it's okay. Just do your best to always be increasing up to your 5 ounces of greens a day. So no matter where you are, just keep moving forward. I know that you can do it. 1 healthy fat is coming from our 10 almonds, and then 1 meal protein, okay? So we're making our way towards our goal. Now for a snack for steady energy, keeping our blood sugar levels very steady, we have 1 vegetable, so munching on 1 cup of your favorite vegetables, maybe that's some snap peas or some carrot sticks or broccoli, you know, you name it, celery. You can choose your favorite. And then 1 snack protein, which would be a boiled egg. And if you're thinking, oh man, boiled eggs, they're so plain. Well, I tell you what, some Nature's Sunshine sea salt, that can be fixed with that. And Nature's Sunshine sea salt is just amazing. The next one, so now we're here at lunch, and lunch on a bed of greens. It looks like we've been to a restaurant here. So we have a salad here with a homemade balsamic dressing. We have some of our baked chicken from the night before, and then we have some of our mild, comforting spaghetti squash. So earlier you received this recipe, so here's what it looks like. So with all of that, you have 2 vegetables, and that's coming from 1 cup of spaghetti squash, okay? 2 ounces of greens, so that is 2 ounces of spinach here in your salad, or if you are too busy to pack a salad, you could just chop up 2 ounces of spinach or 2 ounces of kale and toss that into your mild comforting spaghetti squash here. And the spaghetti squash flavor with those sun-dried tomatoes that you see there, it really adds flavor to that spinach or to that kale and makes it very palatable. So either way, you'll be getting in your greens. And then 2 healthy fats, that's coming from your salad dressing here, and then the oil that is on the squash. And then you're going to have your 1 meal protein with your chicken. So hopefully that sounds very doable to you and helps you break those numbers down. So a snack again to prevent those cravings into pre-dinner cravings, we're going to have a simple chocolate shake. So that's going to be your IN.FORM protein. Then you can add in some cocoa powder if you want to, or some carob powder. That's very easy to take with you to work. Just already have it packed in your special stacker shaker. That's very easy. And then you can just add water and some ice. And then you can have another vegetable here, have some broccoli and 1 cup of that vegetable of your choice. And again, that's very easy to take along with you. Now, if we weren't saving room for our butternut squash at the end, I would say that you could have a 1/4 cup of blueberries. And that will give you some extra brain power for the rest of the day. And now, here we are at dinner. So a delicious, nutrient-dense dinner. Here at the left, you see some stuffed Italian peppers, and that's going to be a wonderful way to pack in a lot of vegetables with a ton of flavor. So you have some red organic bell peppers, preferably from the farmer's market if you have access to one. It has some chopped zucchini in here, some black olives in here, some sun-dried tomatoes. There might be some other vegetables hiding in there too, and then some chicken in there as well. Or you could do grass-fed beef, your choice. And then can't get enough kale salad. You've had a lot of greens already today, but I tell you, this salad, it makes it easy to say you can't get enough of this kale. So 2 vegetable servings are in this dinner, 1 ounce of greens from our salad, 2 healthy fats from the salad dressing over the kale, and then 1 meal protein, which is in our stuffed pepper. All right. So you've made it through your day, you've gotten your vegetables, you've gotten your greens, and you're still smiling. All right. So now here is the recipe for the can't get enough kale salad. And it has some Brussels sprouts in there that are raw. If you're afraid to try Brussels sprouts, I really encourage you, just don't boil them, and they should be very tolerable. So this is a fun way to use them and try to introduce them to you or your participants. You have some walnuts in here, you have some avocado in here, Nature's Sunshine sea salt again, some Bragg liquid aminos, that's a healthy soy sauce alternative. So just grab a little snapshot of that, and it's a very fun salad to put together. So now as we're nearing the end of our presentation, we're going to look at some ways to conquer cravings and stay on track, okay? So the first one is spiralize. Don't compromise. All right, there's a way to get around those pasta cravings. So you can, of course, do your spaghetti squash, but this is using zucchini that you have put onto your spiralizer. And so you might be thinking, what's that sauce on there? This is yet another way to use cauliflower, and we call it our Caul-it-Fredo Sauce. And this is a really fun recipe, especially this time of year. We're wanting those comfort foods, but yet we want to stay on track. So this recipe could be a huge helper to you and your participants. It's very versatile. You can put it over the spiralized zucchini, and that zucchini does not have to be cooked. It can be raw, or you could lightly steam it just a little bit. It's also wonderful over spaghetti squash, as you see here at the bottom. If you're wanting to try to revamp a chicken pot pie, this would work well instead of that cream of mushroom soup or cream of chicken soup. it works really well instead of that. You could also use it as like a gravy. It's wonderful. So hopefully you had enough time to get a little picture of that. I hope you really enjoy it. Next, when those pizza cravings come at us, butternut pizza bites. When I was growing up, I know I wasn't the healthiest. I used to have bagel bites. And so this would have been a much healthier idea to use butternut squash instead. So what you do, it's very easy. You take your butternut squash, you're going to slice it into about 1/4 of an inch thick circles. And then you put some organic tomato paste on top. Make sure that there is no sugar added to that tomato paste. And then you're going to bake that for about 10 to 15 minutes until the spaghetti or the butternut squash starts to get tender. Then you can add some of your organic grass-fed beef on there, and then whatever veggie toppings you want. You don't even have to have cheese on there. No worries if you don't do cheese. And then just bake that for about another 10 to 15 minutes, and voila, you have a butternut pizza bite. And you can have a couple of these, and it'll really satisfy your pizza cravings. All right. Next, the coconut biscuits. So this is where we're going to use that coconut flour, and consider using these as a snack or in place of 2 healthy fats if you're having this with a meal. So just one for right now, okay? And here is the recipe. So you use some coconut flour, and you do want to sift it or fluff it in some way, adding some of our Nature's Sunshine sea salt, baking soda, the Nature's Sunshine xylitol to sweeten it, some organic butter, some canned pumpkin puree, some organic eggs, and some unsweetened almond milk. All right. Oops, here, I'm so sorry. This should say xylitol instead of honey or coconut sugar. I apologize, I didn't catch that. In our cookbook, it says honey or coconut sugar, but for this webinar, I changed it to xylitol. It works just as well, and it forms with our plan. All righty, almost there. Now, the last idea. If you're craving cinnamon rolls, because I know what happens, this is what you can use. So this is if you didn't have your fruit or your legumes of the day. I personally would feel comfortable with adding this in every once in a while. This is a butternut squash that tastes like a cinnamon roll. It's wonderful. And I've had some friends over lately, and they are trying to be healthy, and so they're not as used to healthy foods. They tried this, they loved it. So I know that it will work. And also we gave this to some of our IN.FORM participants as well, and they enjoyed it so much. So 1 tablespoon of organic coconut oil, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 3 drops of stevia if you even want to add it. So you're going to mix that into a paste and spread it over the butternut circles. And these butternut circles, these are about 1/4 of an inch thick, and I like to slice them from the tubular part of the butternut squash, not the more curvy part. Save the curvy part for a soup or something else. They're just harder to slice that end of it. So just you're going to spread that little coconut oil mixture on top and bake it at 350 degrees for 22 to 30 minutes. And oh boy, it is wonderful. So consider using these instead of the fruit or legume serving for the day. 2 butternut squash cinnamon rounds are similar in carbohydrate count as a half a banana. So that's why I would say that every once in a while, if you had someone that was just struggling and needed something sweet to keep them going, this would be a safe alternative. So I believe that brings us to the end. So thank you so much. If you want access to more recipes like this is the information about my cookbook, or if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me through my website. I'd be happy to answer questions. And I hope that these ideas have been a blessing to you and that you are inspired to go and share them with your group.
Wow, Robin, wow. Where I'm at, it's 11:45. Lunchtime cannot get here soon enough after that presentation. I am starving. Well, I don't know when my mouth is watered quite like it is right now. That was beautiful. The presentation, the visual appeal, just your ideas, extraordinary. So thank you, Robin, for sharing all this stuff. These fun creations. And am I correct that most of those pictures were taken by you, were put together by you? Is that correct?
Correct. All of them, yes.
Wow. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, she's an artist in more ways than one. Visually and for our meal plan as well. That was just an outstanding presentation. Thank you, Robin.
My pleasure.
We do have just a few questions that have rolled in. Let me, though, begin by saying a couple of people are wondering, about getting a copy of these slides that you've gone through, and happy to say that yes, those are available. In fact, you should be able to download them right now from your computer. There should be a place probably on the right side of your screen where you'll see an Adobe file, a PDF file that you can click on and download to your computer wherever you'd like to store it. The file is titled 10-4-16 In.FORM Coaches Webinar, and if interested, yeah, just copy that down, and then you'll have access to each slide that we've looked at through the presentation today. So let's take a look at some of the questions that have come in. First, thank you to those retailers that responded to our inquiry at the top of the webinar. Appreciate your feedback there. Michelle is wondering, you talked about red beets a while back and mentioned that it's probably best to keep it to 1/4 of a cup of the beet. So she's wondering why limit it to 1/4 cup? Is there some thinking behind that?
Yes, that's a great question. And that's actually on page 9 of the In.FORM manual, where it talks about the recommended vegetables. And beets, they are just a wonderful vegetable, but they do have a higher natural sugar content. And so just as we're transforming our microbiome and trying to feed the good bacteria and limit our sugars and carbs, the beets, we can have a little bit of them, but just not more than 1/4 cup for right now because of their sugar content.
Makes good sense. All right, thank you. And Robin, Melissa's wondering about coconut oil. We know that coconut oil has become very popular. It's a healthy oil. Are you familiar with any studies that talk about its effect on helping accelerate weight loss?
You know, I've heard of people talk of that, but as far as to stand on a particular study, I am so sorry. I don't. I like using it in a variety of other healthy oils, but, you know, I would encourage you to, you know, go on to PubMed or something like that, and I'm sure that you could find one there.
Okay. All right. Good suggestion. Shirley's wondering, in regards to the Caul-it-Fredo sauce, I loved all your clever food names, this being one of them. She says, for people that might deal with dairy allergies, what would you suggest as a substitute for the butter that was in the recipe? Do you have a thought on that?
Absolutely. That's a great question. And you could do some extra virgin organic olive oil. That would work well. I'm trying to think. That would probably be the best substitution that comes to mind. You could try coconut oil, but I'm afraid it would make it too sweet. So I would try the olive oil, and then you just might need to increase the salt a little bit, and maybe try doing, it says here, let's see, it should say, if you could roast the garlic. I thought there was a note here that says to roast those 4 garlic cloves. If you roasted the garlic and you used olive oil, I think that would make it very nice. Okay?
All right. Sounds delicious. A lot of people are typing in their compliments to you, Robin. Great job. Great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
What a super webinar. I can't wait to share these recipes and try them myself. So lots of kind words. Yeah,
great.
Awesome.
Thank you all.
Let's see. Maybe a couple more quick questions, if you don't mind.
Sure. Not at all.
Tony's wondering, she says, are sweet potatoes the same? Do they have the same amount of sugar as beets do? Do you know how they would compare to a beet?
Wow. You know, I think that, if memory serves me correct, that sweet potatoes would have more than beets, especially if they're cooked. If they're raw, the difference wouldn't be quite as great, but I would say sweet potatoes still have more than beets do. And you can go to nutritiondata.com and verify that. I apologize, I don't know that verbatim, but nutritiondata.com can definitely tell you very quickly.
Okay, great. We'll head there. Let's see, Gina's wondering, with these great recipes that you've shared, does it matter if you take the In.FORM herb packets during a meal or separate from a meal? Do you have any thoughts as the timing when to take the supplements?
Sure. You know, I like to take the supplements with my meal. If you're talking about the cardio kit, that is recommended at dinner. But what I like to do is I like to take the 2 green vitamins, the super supplementals. I like to take those 2 at lunch, and then the 2 yellow capsules, and then the 2 soft gels, the omega-3s. I like to take those with dinner. So that way you're taking care of your cardio kit pack. And then the berberine and the probiotic, I like to take 1 of each of those with each meal. So 1 berberine and 1 probiotic per meal. Does that make sense? Hopefully.
Yeah, I think so. All right, excellent. Let's see. Paula is wondering, when adding chlorophyll to a shake, how much do you typically use, and how do you count it as far as the meal plan?
Absolutely. That's a great question. I would say to your preference, but start with 1 teaspoon and see what you think. I mean, I can do, a tablespoon in it, and I really like it, but I like the minty flavor. But I would start with a teaspoon because you can always add more, but it's hard to take it out. And then it's a freebie. So that's great. You can use, it every day if you wanted to, and you don't have to subtract any servings. Okay?
Very, very good. Okay, Robin, let's maybe make this our final question. Kathy is wondering, is there a substitute for eggs in recipes if you have an allergy to eggs? Have you had an opportunity to swap out eggs?
I haven't tried it, but I know that you can do either ground flaxseed, and I'm almost positive that it's, oh no, I'm not. It's either 3 tablespoons of flaxseed to 1 tablespoon of water, or vice versa. But you can Google really quickly, substitute for eggs, and it'll come up with either a chia seed idea or a flaxseed idea, and either one of those you can use instead.
Okay. Excellent suggestions. Thank you, Robin, so much. What a fun webinar. Yeah, people are still just typing in like crazy. What a great job you did. So thank you.
Aww,
and Robin, I know you are busy this afternoon, so if you need to leave our webinar, that is just fine. We will just go over a few final slides together with the team, but feel free to scoot if you need to. And if you do, before you go, let me just express one more time how grateful we are that you're with us today. This will become a very popular webinar in our archive of many webinars. So we'll look forward to hanging on to this one for a long time. So thanks so much, Robin.
Well, my pleasure. God bless you guys, and thanks for listening.
God bless you. Thanks again, Robin.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, folks. Well, I hope you enjoyed the webinar as much as I did. I sense that you did by the comments that you're typing in. She's so pleasant, just so sweet and easy to listen to, and wise, and just a real delightful person. So again, thanks to Robin for that great information. We also wanted to just let you know of a couple timely points of interest that hopefully will be beneficial as well. We are early into the month of October and want to announce our October Start Your Group promotion that is going on. It's actually, we decided to keep it the same as our August and September promotion since they were well received. So if you participated in August and September, the October promo will be identical to the 2 previous months. What that means is if you start a group with 5 or more people during the month of October, you'll receive a $150 product credit that you can then apply towards any products of your choice. You can also earn additional product credit if you, during the month, if you reach a certain amount of IN.FORM product sales in QV amount. So as you see in the little grid below, if you have 600 QV in IN.FORM product sales during the month of October, you'll receive an additional $150 product credit. If you hit 1,000 QV in IN.FORM product sales, we'll give you an additional $300 in product credit for a total of $450. So take advantage of these great offers. Start your group, promote the kits. You can hit those 600 QV very quickly as you promote and encourage your participants to purchase one of the IN.FORM Metabolic Age Support System kits. Same, you can hit that 1,000, you should be able to hit 1,000 QV if you had 5 new participants each order a kit for their first month. So you can mix and match those In.FORM products, but boy, we would love to pile up the product credit for you for your good hard work. We also, I'm sure you know, but just in the event that this may be new news to some, we also have our In.FORM certification now available in an online format. Now, we realize that all of you today have already gone through the In.FORM certification program, but hopefully you're identifying some participants in your groups that perhaps are expressing interest in becoming a coach like you are. So we're happy to say that they can now certify from anywhere in the country. What they would do is go to the website that you see on the screen, informcoaches.com, and that will step them through everything they need to do to get started. I'm aware of one gal in New York who she signed up to take the In.FORM Coaches, or to take a certification course through the informcoaches.com, and she completed the course by the end of that day. She was so excited about it. Everything flowed so nicely, and she was just enjoying the time. Before she knew it, she had already gone through about the 7 hours that it would take a person to complete the course, and she got certified the very day that she started. So take a look at it, pardon me, and share this URL with anybody in your group that you think is ready to become a coach. This slide says September is the month to get certified with our online training program. Now, we're in the month of October, I realize, but we wanted to keep this slide because during September we had a great introductory price of $399 if a person did go through the online certification program. And you see normally it's $549, so there's a $150 savings. We had several do that, go through the online program during the month of September, that we decided that we wanted to extend this special introductory opportunity for the first 2 weeks of October. So although the slide says September, just know that this same offer that you see on your screen currently applies until October 15th. So again, if you have folks that are interested in becoming a certified In.FORM coach, as long as they start and get going before October 15th, they will save $150 over the normal price, which will become $549 the middle of the month. Hopefully I explained that so that it's not too confusing. But anyway, this is the time to become a certified In.FORM coach. For those of you, the rest of you who are coaches, we do have a special introductory price of $49.99. If you, as a coach, would like to go through the online certification program, again, just as a refresher, or to maybe learn some new skills, to hear things presented perhaps in a little different format or by a different coach than you heard when you went to your live certification, we would hope that all of you would consider going through the online program again, even though you've already become a certified coach. Again, the price is $49.99. You see at the bottom of the slide, that does include a new coach's manual plus 3 participant manuals. All of that is a $45 value, so it's just really you're not going to spend really anything to go through the online program. Well, you'll spend $49.99, but you're getting $45 back in value. So it will help you with your next In.FORM group. So we invite you to take advantage of that if you would like as well. And that will run through the end of October, that price of $49.99. We're looking for great recipes, and we've talked about this on previous webinars, but you can win some fun prizes by sharing beautiful recipes, much like Robin just shared or showed us. If you have a fun In.FORM friendly recipe, we invite you to send that into social@natr.com, social@natr.com. The first 5 of you who submit a recipe will receive some nice NSP swag, and that will be sent out by our lovely Shandy Hatfield here at home office. She'll make sure that you get that. And one of you in a drawing will win either a new Metabolic Age Support System kit or a package of our Authentic Essential Oils kit. We'll let you decide what you want to pick. This was announced during our webinar last week, and we've selected the winners. These 5 people were the first 5 to submit a nice, healthy, IN.FORM approved recipe. So congratulations goes out to Tony McAdams, Jeanette Marcus, Amy Zucchero, Shirley Goodrich, and Nelia Rohatash. All 5 of you will be hearing from Sandy soon, and we'll send you some nice IN.FORM swag. And the person who wins the grand prize for this week is Ruth Pacheco from New Jersey. Congratulations goes out to Ruth. So we will be in touch with all 6 of you, and again, we will announce some winners on our next week's webinar as well. So if you have one of those fun, IN.FORM friendly recipes that you've created that you just love to share, hurry and get it into us. Send it into that email address, social@natr.com, and the first 5 will win some swag, and then we will draw a winner out of all of the recipes that we get, and they'll win that nice Authentic Essentials Oil Kit or one of our Metabolic Age Support System kits. So way to go to this week's winners. Yay, some of you are typing in, yeah, I just heard my name drawn, I won. That's right, congratulations. So we also have our fun IN.FORM challenge that's going on now. In fact, you see in big bold letters, it begins now. There's no registration period, so you can sign up anytime. It's put in place to help you with your participants, to help them, encourage them to enjoy 13 weeks of healthy transformation. So it works very nicely with the 13 weeks of modules that you discuss throughout the IN.FORM program. We award prizes quarterly. If you are the IN.FORM coach of someone that wins, then you as the coach will win too. I'll show you that in our next slide. Now, to participate, a person must have an NSP account. They do not need to be a coach, but they do need to have an NSP account. So it's open really to anybody that does have an NSP account. But boy, I think those of you who are coaches and are working with your group participants, you really, I think, have a leg up on the rest of the competition. So our hope is that this will be a fun little incentive in your groups to get people to maybe set a little higher goal perhaps on what they hope to accomplish during their 13 weeks with you by their side. The winners receive this, what you see on your screen. The first place winner will receive $1,000 in cash. They'll receive a photo shoot, $200 in value, a $500 makeover, a convention for 2 in Orlando, Florida next April, and $300 in product credit. Now, if you're the coach of the first place winner, you're going to receive $500 in cash. The second place winner that is a participant in the IN.FORM challenge will receive $500 in cash, a photo shoot, and $200 in product credit. You as the coach would receive $250 in cash. The third place winner will receive $250 in cash, a photo shoot, and $100 in product credit. And the coach of the third place winner would receive $125 in cash. So again, use this as a tool to encourage your participants to set some goals, to take a before and after picture, and it's really, really simple. Just go take a look at that URL that we looked at on a previous slide, and we'll gladly get them in the process of hopefully becoming one of our winners. Now you see at the very bottom of this slide it says every participant who completes the challenge gets $25 in free products. So there's really nothing to lose and a whole lot to gain by participating in the IN.FORM challenge. Okay, let me check our other screen and just see if we've had any final questions come in. Okay, Shirley's asking if you have 2 coaches teaching a group, does that mean you need to have 7 total to count as a group? No, we would still let you count 5 as a group. Surely that would be just fine. Let's see, our next printed slide, Marilyn says our next printed slide says October 31st. Sorry, Marilyn, I'm not sure what slide that is. I apologize if I've confused something there. I think you might be referring to the slide that talks about how you as an IN.FORM coach can retake the program for $49.99. That is correct. You have until the end of the month to do the online course as a coach. Okay, I see where you've corrected. All right, sorry, we're good. Let's see. Dawn is saying, once they register for the course, how long do they have to take the class? That's a great question, Dawn. She's referring to the online program. They have 90 days to finish it. If they don't finish it in 90 days, then unfortunately they won't get credit for having started the course. But we feel like in 3 months' time they should have no problem, hopefully, getting through the material. And really, if they dedicate a day or two, they could probably knock it out in that span of time. Let's see. Gina says, when will the online coaching class begin? This is actually at your leisure, Gina, so anytime that you want. It's not a webinar that has a set start time. You can take it at your convenience from the comfort of your home anytime that you would like. Tony's wondering where the winners were the winners of this contacted. We will contact you, Tony. You were one of our 6 winners earlier today. I think we're about there. Okay, Tony, you have another question. If you want to email me your question about a participant who wasn't able to finish the last challenge, let's look into that. My email address is scott@natr.com, SCOTTT@natr.com. And Shirley's wondering, does a coach count as a participant? No, Shirley, coaches do not. The participants have to be someone other than you as the coach. Okay, all good questions. And with that, I think we are good. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for participating with us today. Go try some of those delicious recipes. Let us know what you like. Share them with your groups. Hopefully everybody will feel healthy and happy and have discovered some new ways to help them with their IN.FORM meal plan. Our next webinar is scheduled for next Tuesday, October the 11th at 11 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. We hope that we'll have you all back here with us for our next webinar next Tuesday. Until then, have a wonderful rest of your week. Good luck with your IN.FORM coaches. We're honored to be your partner here at Home Office. Let us know if there's anything that we can do to help you along your Nature Sunshine and your IN.FORM journey. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, and we'll see y'all back here next Tuesday. Thanks so much, and so long.